ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here in this portion of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila is describing the miserable condition one has to face during his old age and just before his death. Now we are young, it is difficult for us to imagine, and we take our life for granted. We never even wonder or consider that one day I have to die, I have to leave this world. So, here Lord Kapila is explaining the miserable condition a person who is very attached to material life has to undergo during his old age. So, very nicely he is describing this. Asate avamatya upanyastam. He remains in his family life, in his house, being dependent on those whom he had earlier maintained. The father, the mother, they maintain their children. But slowly when they become old, they are maintained by their children. Earlier they used to maintain their children, but now they become dependent in their old age on their children. You see, there is a lot of difference when a child is completely dependent on the parents and when old parents are dependent on their young children. It's a lot of difference. We know when we were all small children, we are completely dependent on the mercy of our parents. The small child, he passes urine anytime. The small child, he passes stool anytime. So many times the parents have to, especially the mother, has to feed the child. But the mother never takes it like a burden. Is the mother thinking this child is a burden, let him die? No. Mother will never think like this. Parents will not think like this. But see the difference. The same child, when he grows young, and the parents have become dependent, let us say the father is lying on the bed and he has to pass stool, and somebody in the family has to take care of cleaning his stool, his urine. Even though in their mind it will be there, oh, he's my father, I have to take care of him. But still, it is a fact that very soon they become fatigued. And in their mind, they become very negligent. Somehow or other, they try to maintain him, but actually always waiting when this old man will pass away and we can lead our normal life. Now because of him we are not able to live our normal life. So much of care we have to take. We have to clean, we have to take him to toilet, we have to give him a bath, we have to feed him with a spoon. You see, the same thing when it was a child, it was never a burden. You see, but when the same person, when he has become an old man, he becomes a burden on the whole family. The child is not neglected. You don't find. Mother will be very much behind all the time. Mother may not sleep, but she will see to it, my child sleeps nicely. Isn't it? Mother may not get time to eat, but she will see to it that my child eats nicely. See how much contrast you can find. In the beginning of our life and when our life is ending, at both the time actually one is dependent. In the childhood we are dependent, and again in the old age we become dependent. But in the childhood, even though it is a burden, parents do not take it as a burden. They call it as a burden of love. But this phenomenon we don't find in the old age. Sometimes we find the children are so busy, they cannot take care of their old parent. They will put them in old age home. Why? Because they feel we cannot take out our time and take care of necessities of feeding him. Better to pay some money and somebody takes care of them. So this is exactly what is being described by Lord Kapila here. No gentleman or an intelligent person who is aware of Vedic knowledge and Vedic culture will become dependent on his children in his old age. When the Vedic literatures are very clearly describing what will be the condition when he is maintained by his own children, whom he had maintained once. Actually, this is how people are in modern culture trained like this. When somebody joins Krishna consciousness, the parents are worried not about the future of the child, but sometimes they are worried who will take care of us in our old age. They are more worried for that. If you remember few years back, when few devotees had joined and there was news carried in some of the newspaper, and when the channel, they had gone to the parents and they interviewed them, most of the common thing they said was, we took care of him so much in his childhood and we are expecting that he is going to take care of us in our old age. This is how the modern culture is training. Not understanding the reality and the real psychology, that actually when a person becomes old and is maintained by his young children, he is maintained very negligently. This is what it is said here. Lord Kapila is describing this. Asate avamatya. Very negligently he is taken care of. Upanyastam. In the childhood, we find, whatever the child likes, the mother endeavors so much to make for him nice different varieties. Imagine a man is lying on the bed and is asking, today I want idli, tomorrow I want dosa. Do you think the people in the house, they will be so much bothered? Oh, my father, he is lying on the bed, today he wants idli, tomorrow he wants dosa, so let me make. Bhagavatam is saying, no, whatever is negligently placed, he has to eat. It's a fact. And the example is given here. Asate avamatya, he remains, avamatya means very negligently he is maintained. Upanyastam means whatever is placed for him to eat. Whatever is placed. How it is placed? Grihapalaha, very strong word Bhagavatam is using. Just like we don't prepare for dog, that today I will prepare samosas for the dog, tomorrow I will prepare jalebis for the dog. We don't do. Whatever is left over as a remnant, we give it to the pet, we give it to the dog. Similarly, an old man in the family life, actually this is how he is maintained very negligently. Whatever is placed, whether he likes it, he does not like it, he has to eat. Imagine, this is going to be the condition in the old age, when we are being maintained by our own children. So, graha palaha iva ahatam. Ahatam means eating. In the matter of eating, whatever is placed, whatever is left over is actually given. And this is how very negligently this old man is surviving, is living in his house. Then it says, Amayavi, he is in a very diseased condition. In the old age you will find, when a person is young and when there is a disease, at least he can take some medicine and those medicines will work. When a person becomes old, his system has become so much invalid. His heart is not functioning properly, lungs are not functioning properly, liver is not functioning properly, and he takes medicine for some disease, immediately you will find another disease starts, another problem starts. Suppose he is having heart problem and then he is given some medicine for heart. Because his system has become so much invalid, his lungs are not functioning properly, liver is not functioning properly. The disease, one disease may be taken care of, but by taking those medicines, you will find another problem starts. So, he remains practically diseased and bedridden in his own house. And then, apradipta agnihi, his digestion, his power to digest food has also become practically extinguished. So when we are young, we find anything we eat, generally we don't bother and it gets digested. But as we grow old, actually we have to take care of our diet, because we should know that our that Agni, in the digestive Agni, it becomes slackened. So at that time, when a person, he has a desire to eat, it's not that his desires are gone. He has a desire to eat. He also wants to enjoy the food. But because of his diseased condition and low digestive power, he eats only very less. So alpa aharo. Alpa aharo means he eats very less because of this. Then alpa cheshtitaha, and he becomes invalid and inactive. Cannot move around. He requires support of people to take him around, to take him to different places. Even though all his desires are there, he wants to go out, but he cannot. His body does not help him in that direction to satisfy his desires anymore. So this is the condition of his life. So, in contrast to an attached householder who remains like this and awaits his death, he is awaiting. He does not want to die, but he knows that one day I have to die. I have become old, I have become invalid, and practically he understands that he does not have much time. And Prabhupada is explaining that he is so attached to his body that he wants that even after his death, his body should be carried gorgeously in a good procession. So many people should follow that procession when he has died. Grand procession. Foolish man does not even realize. However grand the procession may be, he will not be there to see it. When a person has died, he is not even aware. He is not even aware where has he gone. So where is the question of seeing his grand procession, that his body is being carried, isn't it? So this is the condition of a attached householder. In contrast to this, Vedic culture actually right from the beginning, it trains a person to gradually come to spiritual platform. So, human life specially is considered to be very, very important. And that's how Chanakya Pandit says that in human life, our time should not be wasted. This life is obtained after undergoing so many different species of life. So he gives an example that even if you want to spend millions of gold coin to get back your time, you cannot get back. Once the time has passed, even if you are ready to pay any amount, you cannot get it back. So, human life is specifically considered to be very, very important. So, Bhagavatam is saying one should not neglect this human form of life. Rather, he should start preparing for getting out of this material birth, old age, disease, death, this cycle of material world. He should begin at the age of 5. Komaram acharet pragno dharman bhagavatam iha. Prahlad Maharaj is saying that actually this human life is not meant for spoiling it in different kind of frivolous activities. Childhood, generally our inclination is to simply spoil our time in playing. So that's how Shankaracharya, he laments. He says that what is the condition of human being in this material world? They spoil their childhood in sports, in different frivolous activities, in playing around. They spoil their youth in romances and old age being invalid. Where is the time to become Krishna conscious? Isn't it? So you can find when you approach a small child, he will say, I am too young. Isn't it? This is not the age. People will also say, Arey, what is this? This is not your age. I remember I sometimes cite this example that when I used to go with one of my assistant preacher, so one of the Marwadis whom we were cultivating regularly, he would say jokingly, Swami ji, ये आपका उम्र नहीं है, ये उम्र पैसा बनाने का है, ये माला घुमाने का उम्र नहीं है. So people think like this, that so children, they are meant for playing, and when we are young, we have no time for all these things. We are busy in our attraction for different sense enjoyments. And then when we are old, no, I have already become old, I have so many other duties, I have not completed this, my son is not married, isn't it? So many responsibilities are still pending. So where is the time? Shankaracharya said. So Bhagavatam culture is right from the beginning. And Rishabdev is saying that do not endeavor for material things so much, because material things are destined. You cannot change your destiny by working hard, but you can change your spiritual destiny. So why do you want to work hard? Do you work hard to get any miseries in your life? Anybody is working hard? So he says similarly, we are foolish. We are thinking that we will become happy by working hard. Whatever happiness you are going to get is destined. You are going to get it. So don't work hard for it. Work for something which you can change. Parabhas tavat abodha jatam. When we are born in this material world, everyone is born in ignorance. And this human life is considered to be a defeat. Parabhavas. If we remain ignorant, if we die ignorantly, this is a defeat of human life. So, Vedic culture was, right from the beginning, the children were trained to become Krishna conscious. Komaram acharet pragno dharman bhagavatam. Bhagavat dharma has to be somehow or other introduced at the childhood. Because that is the age when they can actually learn something. No one is able to learn when they become old. No, we don't find. You want to learn some Russian language, you want to learn some language. It's very difficult to learn at the age when you are no more young. You will find in childhood they can learn 5-6 languages at a time. Because that is the capacity of the mind at that time, our intelligence. We have that faculty at that time. So as we grow old, our memory, our retention power, our intelligence, all of them grow old. So where is the question of learning at that time? So when a child is trained like this, Prabhupada is explaining what should be done. In the previous purport, Prabhupada explains what is called as Vedic culture. Moment when a person is still in the vigor of his life, at the age of 50, he is still in the vigor of his life, but slowly he is going towards old age. Now he will be moving towards old age. So at that point of time, Vedic literature says, one should give up his family life and retire and go to Vrindavan, a sacred place like Vrindavan, to completely devote his life in Krishna consciousness, being dependent on the Lord and not being dependent on his family people. Where he will be taken care like a dog. No. So Vedic culture was not to die an unglorious death in the house where everybody is waiting for your death, that when this old man is going to pass away. I was telling you that my parents were explaining to me the condition of my paternal uncle's wife. Very, very miserable condition. Still in, I think, it's not even 70 or 70 maximum, I think, around. My paternal uncle must be around 75 and wife must be around 70, say around 5 to 6 years of age difference. But she has become so invalid. Now the children, they don't bother because they have seen that our mother has become so invalid, and practically, I have not seen, but this is what my mother explained to me, that looks like a skeleton, practically just some skin left, but somehow or other she is still surviving. Eats little, 1 or 2 times in a day. And my paternal uncle, so my mother was telling me, every day he is praying to the Lord. My dear Lord, when I get up tomorrow morning, she should not be alive. Can you imagine? What an inglorious life. They're waiting. What a burden. Every day she is like a vegetable sitting on the bed. We have to feed, we have to, he has to give her bath and, whatever, take her little out, all those things. And he's telling, रोज उठता हूँ, रोज देखता हूँ, जिंदा है. Every day. She's still alive. And then he's thinking, better God, you take me away. Rather than this miserable condition of life, either of us, you take us away. Imagine. Such a negligent life. Would we like to live? Everybody is waiting when this old man is going to die. Isn't it? So Vedic literatures are saying, what a beautiful, glorious life the Vedic literature is teaching us so nicely. So Prabhupada is explaining this. This is from the last purport. Family attraction is so strong, even if one is neglected by family members in his old age, he cannot give up family affection. And he remains in the home just like a dog. In Vedic way of life, one has to give up family life when he is strong enough. When he is strong enough, at least now the strength will start dwindling. From the age of 50, the strength will start dwindling. So when he is still strong enough, he should be ready to give up his family life. So what a beautiful culture it was. 25 years of brahmacharya, next 25 years of grahastha, and next 25 year vanaprastha. And then finally sannyas. That is how Vedic culture was. It is advised that before getting too weak and being baffled in material activities, before becoming diseased, one should give up family life and engage oneself completely in the service of the Lord for the remaining days of his life. So at least at that time he should realize that let the remaining days of my life, I have served my family, I have served everybody, I have served my senses for so long. They are still not satisfied and they will never be satisfied. Isn't it? It is not that we are now very satisfied, you served us very nicely, now in your old age we will take care of you very nicely. No. Isn't it? So at least the remaining days of his life he should dedicate for the service of the Lord. It is enjoined therefore in the Vedic scripture that as soon as one passes 50 years of age, he must give up family life and live alone in the forest. After preparing himself fully, he should become a sannyasi to distribute the knowledge of spiritual life to each and every home. And in today's purport, Prabhupada is very nicely explaining, very beautifully. Before meeting death, one is sure to become a diseased invalid. When he is neglected by his family member, his life becomes less than a dog. So one should realize that as I am becoming old, as I am becoming diseased and weak in my bodily strength, this is going to be my condition in the future, isn't it? So he is just like a miserable condition. Vedic literature enjoins therefore, before the arrival of such miserable condition, one should leave home and die without the knowledge of his family members. That means he has completely dedicated his life. Not that he has gone to forest, or let us say he has taken vanaprastha and he is becoming old and he is calling his family member, "Arey bhai, I am going to die, please come." No, this is not enjoined in the Vedic literature. Isn't it? So, if a man leaves home and dies without his family knowing, it is considered to be glorious. This is glorious death actually. Not that hundreds and thousands of people will carry me in procession, I want to see. Chanchalapati Prabhu was once explaining that one devotee who joined in Bangalore, he confided to him, he said that, "Prabhu, I had a desire that when I am living, so many people should follow me, and even at my death," this was his desire, he said, "there should be a long queue of people following me, to the burial ground, and everybody shedding tear and crying, 'Oh, we have lost such a great man.'" You see? So it's a fact, sometimes people are thinking like this, that this is how I should die. People, so many hundreds of people in a procession coming, crying that, yeah, we have lost a great man. That is not a glorious death, because we will not be knowing where are we. We are not going to be there to see our procession at all. Where we will be, in which life we have gone, we have no idea. This is called glorious death, Prabhupada is explaining, according to the Vedic culture, where one is not bothered about his family anymore. He has given them up. That yes, let them lead their life. I have my life. I have to prepare now fully to see, to go back to Godhead. Isn't it? So in this human life, we should think that this life, let me, one life which I have got, let me practice little austerity. Why should I waste so much of my time in so many frivolous activities, sleeping or gossiping, and practically we should think every moment, because Rupa Goswami is explaining, as a devotee advances, he becomes very conscious of his time. Avyartha kalatvam. He is always considering whether my time is being wasted or not. Not that sometimes we find devotees somehow or other just want to, somehow or other waste their time and be, okay, somehow I am there in Krishna consciousness, chanting my rounds, doing this thing. No. We should be thinking that every moment, the more I serve the Lord, the more my Krishna consciousness journey will be very smooth. At the end of this life, Prabhupada is saying, it is not that 100% we have to become completely pure. If we try our best, to the best of the capacity, Prabhupada says that, if we just do the best to our capacity, Krishna is satisfied with that. We don't have to worry about that I am not able to do some great things. What capacity the Lord has given us, if you utilize that fully in service of the Lord is completely satisfied. So, rather than becoming attached to the family life, we have to become attached more and more to Krishna. Then, all these old age, disease, all these will become irrelevant for us, because our mind will be so much absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord. So we'll stop with this. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.